Hey everyone, Vance from the Gleeman here, back today with another Wheel of Time video. In today's video, I'm going to be doing Lezbi Nerdy's The Way Back book tag. That's right, we've got another book tag circulating around YouTube now, and I hope that I'm going to be able to answer these questions in an entertaining manner and provide some answers that maybe some other folks are not going to give you. Otherwise, it would be boring. Just a quick note about spoilers is that this video will contain them. They will go basically through the end of the series, so if you have not finished, go ahead and click off now. I will try to spoiler tag the individual questions with timestamps in the description down below and pin it in a comment, but I might miss something, so proceed at your own risk. Alright, now into question number 1. Who are your favorite and least favorite Wheel of Time couple? Now, I don't really have a favorite Wheel of Time couple, as RJ's romance writing is pretty subpar. What I do have though, and what I'm going to answer with, are a favorite pair of characters or a duo. This can be friends, you know, romance, whatever. I'm changing it for my own whims, so I hope that's okay. Lezbi, don't get too mad at me for doing so. But my favorite pair of characters throughout the entire series is probably the interaction between Matt and Talmanes. I just love the way that they play off each other, especially once they hook back up in the later part of the series, because it just reintroduces that kind of dry humor that Talmanes is known for that just does not register with Matt at all. He does not understand it, he doesn't get it, and it completely falls flat off of him. I like their interactions. I like his ability to play the foil to Matt and always kind of act as the straight man in their comedy duo. So ultimately, that's probably my favorite pairing of characters in the series. Now, I do have a least favorite couple though, and that is Egwene and Gawain. Egwene is a strong, independent woman who don't need no man. But seriously, the romance is awful, and I believe it harms each character within the series a little bit. It makes Gawain do the stupid crap that he's known for. Granted, he would have been doing it anyway, but now he's doing it in the name of Egwene, which I think causes some people to associate his terribleness to Egwene, and that's why we see some of the hate against her. And then on top of that, I just never liked the fact that all of the Emmonsfield 5 end up with a romance by the end of the series. It just, it's too convenient, and it was kind of felt shoehorned to me. I didn't quite like it. Number 2, what is a small moment you hope they keep for the show? This was an easy one for me. I want them to keep Matt and Teslin's goodbye from Towers of Midnight when they shake hands and part ways. I really liked the friendship that developed between Matt and Teslin during the trek from Ebu Dar, and I really think this highlights the fact that Matt is maturing a little bit because he's able to both befriend and kind of have a grudging respect for an Aes Sedai, a member of an organization that he has been running away from the entire series, and it has helped him learn that they're not all, you know, the stereotypes that the Two Rivers folk tales would have had him believe his entire life. I really liked that moment and everything it represented for Matt's character development in the series up to that point. Number 3, what is your favorite funny moment from the series? Hands down, Red Rod Tirangrial, nuff said. Number 4, what is a moment from the Wheel of Time that makes you cry? Hopper, the second time. Number 5, what is your favorite quote from the Wheel of Time? Take life as it comes. Run when you have to, fight when you must, rest when you can. Elias Machira, The Eye of the World. Number 6, what is a missed opportunity with the One Power? I think a lot of people are going to come up with this, but it's going to be any form of long-distance communication, whether that be through gateways using a FaceTime-esque scenario or some kind of message sending ability like Morse code through some link in the power or whatnot. That's an obvious one that I think Jordan purposefully left out because it would have made a lot of the series kind of irrelevant in terms of the characters being separated by vast distances. And in fact, we find later on in the series that there are sometimes contrivances for certain characters not being able to create gateways at specific points. I think that once those were reintroduced to the world, Jordan and then Sanderson had to come up with ways to keep characters from utilizing them for quick and easy communication. Another use of the power I feel is missed is using the Mask of Mirrors or other illusory weaves to give basically holographic projections of maps, objects, items, towns, I mean, whatever, you know, you name it. That's one area that I feel the series kind of lacked on, is that sometimes the characters don't know what something looks like or the lay of the land, and they could have just weaved up a map real quick, displayed it to everybody, and moved on. Number 7, besides Verin, who is your favorite secondary character? This one's going to be a toss-up for me between Talmanes, Brigitte, or Swan. I like all three of them. I find them all entertaining and fun to read, and I can never get enough of Swan's fishy metaphors and fishy swears. Number 8, what was the theory you had while reading that turned out to be wrong? So both Drew and I kind of had this theory, and it was that Rand would use Padan Fain to rebuild the Dark One's prison and seal the board. Essentially, we kind of construed that Padan Fain is basically a mixture of the Dark One's evil and the evil of humanity inherent within the world, whereas the Dark One's evil is existential in nature. Humanity's evil is focused on survival and domination. So they are opposing forces of evil. They're both bad, but they're diametrically opposed to each other. So we assumed that because it was an opposite form of evil and an opposite power to the Dark One, that Rand would be able to harness it from Fain and use it along with Kalendor to seal the bore and rebuild the Dark One's prison. Obviously, that didn't happen, as we got that happening with the true power, but still, it was interesting to think about. Number 9, what is your favorite Wheel of Time culture and why? So I'm probably going to get a little bit of hate for this, but it's the Shan-Chan. They're my favorite. And the reason they're my favorite is that I love to hate them. They are so well realized as an imperial oppressive force that they feel probably the most realistic of almost all the cultures out there. Yes, they have terrible, horrible practices, but so does every other imperialistic power that's existed in humanity's history. They're just continuing down the line of where we've been and a possibility of where we're going. Another thing that's a hallmark of an imperialistic power is that they just think they're the best, they know they're the best, and they're going to make sure they're the best. And yeah, they definitely tick all three of those boxes. Number 10, who's a character from another book series that would make a great Amyrlin Seat and why? My pick for this is going to be Snow White from Bill Willingham's Fables. For those of you who don't know, Fables is a comic book series about fairy tale characters seeking refuge in the real world. The story takes place in modern day New York, and they live in an enclave called Fabletown. When we're first introduced to Snow White, she's been the deputy mayor of Fabletown for centuries, so she has the experience to run an organization like the White Tower. On top of that, as a Fable, she's long-lived, essentially immortal, and would be able to stand toe-to-toe with Aes Sedai in their lifespan. These are two elements I felt would be very important for someone being Amyrlin, though you could make the case that there are short-lived Amyrlin Seats because of their tenures being cut short or because they die in office. However, I feel that looking at it from the perspective of a post-Last Battle Amyrlin, Snow White would be a fantastic fit. Plus, I just wanted an excuse to talk about Fables because it's one of my favorite comic books, and I hope this encourages some of y'all to go out there and check it out. And lastly, finally, time to tag some other Wheel of Time creators. For my tags, I want to tag Lauren from Unraveling the Pattern and Rebecca from Reading the Pattern. Both of them have very unique, thoughtful perspectives on the series, and I can't wait to hear their answers to these questions. Alright everyone, that about wraps up this video. Go ahead and hit that like button if you liked it, dislike if you didn't, subscribe, hit the bell icon for more Wheel of Time content from me, and I will see you all next time.